Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to share with you the 8 biggest lessons that I personally learnt from selling close to $60,000 worth of my collection just in 2023 alone. This actually happened in the last, I'm going to say 4 months. I sold off a large portion of my collection and I'm not done yet. I'm still selling. To be honest, I'm not trying very hard because I hate it. I will have on screen some pieces I'm currently selling, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see every now and again I post things that I'm trying to sell or I'm looking to sell. I just want to make it clear that $60,000 worth of my collection is what I've sold, but that is not what I made. Probably more close to half of that is what I actually made from selling these things off. I sold these things at a great loss, but you know, I'm just happy to have made some money back from my mistakes that I've made over the last decade. I think the biggest lesson that I've learnt throughout this whole selling process and moving on a lot of my collection is the realization that I don't actually need as much as what I thought I needed. I don't actually need or even wear as much as I thought I would. I used to scoff and I used to laugh at the idea of a capsule wardrobe. I used to think that it was a real sad way to live. On the other side, in this new headspace I'm in, I look at my wardrobe now and I just see so much still that I don't wear. I am a creature of habit. The more that I've been moving into this headspace, I realize that yes, quality is still important to me. Dressing nicely is still important to me. Feeling good is still important to me, but I don't need hundreds and hundreds of pieces of clothing to feel good. And truthfully, when I put on a large portion of the items that are even still sitting in my wardrobe now, I don't feel great in them. I don't feel my best in them. There is probably only a quarter of my wardrobe I go to are my go-to pieces that I feel my most amazing in. And that's probably the biggest takeaway that I learned from this. I think, you know, we've heard minimalists, we've heard people in the decluttering space talk about this, but it's something that you can't really truly understand, I don't think, unless you're truly ready to understand it and truly ready to listen. But it's the truth of the matter that most of the things that we own, and that goes for any area of our life, I think a lot of us own a lot more than we actually need, use, like, wear in every area of our life. Following on from my first point, decluttering to the extent that I have and moving on a large portion of my wardrobe has actually allowed me to see and to better understand what my true style is. Not what Instagram tells me my style is, not what the latest trends tell me my style is, not what, you know, the influencers on YouTube or on whatever social media platform or the magazines tell me my style is. I have a better understanding of truly what my style is. I see that because I see what I gravitate towards. I see what I feel my best in when I put combinations together. And I never was able to truly see that when I had like truly a bunch of different items in my wardrobe. And I always liked to believe that I was very eclectic in my taste and I had different styles of different things. But truly, I think a lot of what I bought was influenced. A lot of what I bought was because I was trying to look like and emulate someone else's look without actually really truly understanding what my style is. I gravitate to very basic, simple, casual, timeless silhouettes, timeless outfit combinations, very, very casual. And also I gravitate more towards earthy tones, more neutral tones. This is something I've realized just from being able to declutter to the extent I have and see what I feel my best in. I prioritize comfort and feeling comfortable above everything else. I don't know if this is just an age thing or if this is something that came out of the pandemic, but being comfortable to me is now my #1 priority. Feeling comfortable, looking comfortable, being comfortable trumps style for me. I do believe that you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. I do believe that you can look good and stylish and also be comfortable and feel comfortable. I realized how much I was fiddling and fixing my clothes and just trying to readjust my outfit throughout the day. That for me is not normal. I don't like that anymore. I don't want to have to wear something and be constantly readjusting, constantly fixing it, constantly making sure I look okay or something's sitting right. To me, there's nothing worse when I'm wearing an outfit now. I was holding on to things for the wrong reasons. And I was holding on to things, specifically handbags, I think. Handbags were the thing that I had the most trouble letting go of. But once I let go of them, I completely forgot that feeling and I completely detached from that feeling. But I think I was holding on to things for such a long time because I felt like I should, or I felt like I had to, or it was because I had certain memories attached to those items. Just one example, my multi-pochette accessoire. I sold that about a month or so ago now, and I haven't thought about it since. Part of the reason why I felt like I was holding on to it was because it was so hard for me to get in the beginning, and I was so happy and excited when I got it. And not only that, it was the bag that I took to Scotland and Italy. It was a bag that I took on my most recent international trip. You know, as early as December last year and January of this year, I was wearing that bag. And there were so many memories attached to that bag of some of the best time I had overseas. I feel like setting myself free in that sense, it was such a huge weight off my shoulders. And just that realization that I don't have to hold on to things because I should or because the memories attached to them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not at all underestimating how hard it is to let go of something that you have almost an emotional attachment to. But for me, what it came down to was this realization that somebody out there would wear this item, love this item, appreciate this item so much more than I am. And I can look back fondly on photos and on videos. I don't have to have the item hanging in my wardrobe, so to speak. What helped for me, I think, especially if you have big ticketed items, very expensive items in your collection that you're just not wearing. For me, I stopped seeing them as memories and as emotions and as feelings, and I started imagining the money that I paid for them, or potentially the money that I could actually get back for them. I imagined like the bills, the notes, if you will. I imagined $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 hanging in that space. Would I rather have that money? Yes, I would. If I had $2,000, would I just leave it sitting on a shelf? Absolutely not. I wouldn't leave a wad of cash sitting on the shelf. I'd invest it. I'd spend it on something else. I'd save it. I'd do something with it that was actually going to be more productive. I don't think there's anything wrong with spending lots of money on bags or on anything if you have the financial means to do so. But for me, what I realized the problem is I only want to have really expensive things that I'm actually using, that I'm actually regularly using. I think actually being in a relationship weirdly served as a little bit of a timeline for me, because I would look at my bags and I would think, okay, I've now been in a relationship with my boyfriend for close to 2 years. I think I've known him close to 2 years now. Isn't it bad that I don't even remember when's our anniversary? Yeah. Wow, 2 years as of January. That's crazy. You don't need to be in a relationship to do this. Maybe it could be another milestone you hit. I started to use my timeline of my relationship to help me decide whether or not I want to keep a bag or not. I'd look at bags and I would realize that there was a good number of bags in my collection that I had never worn in the time that I've known my boyfriend. I've known my boyfriend now for close to 2 years, and that's to me not okay. Like, I wouldn't just leave thousands of dollars sitting on the shelf. Why am I leaving these things sitting on the shelf collecting dust? I'm not wearing them, I'm not using them. So that was a big eye-opener for me. I realized that if I've had just money, it's basically money just sitting on the shelf for close to 2 years and I haven't touched it, I don't think I'm going to miss it. And even if I do miss it, I'm going to be okay. It's just a bag. It's just a fabric, material, leather, whatever it is, canvas. It's just a thing. I touched on this briefly just before, but again, the analogy and the example of imagining the dollars, imagining the bills, the notes, the check, whatever you want to envision sitting there on your shelf instead. There is just so many more things I now would rather do with that money, especially in this financial climate that we're in, than just have money sitting on my shelf. Okay, I'd rather save it. I'd rather put it into my investment portfolio. I would rather spend it on pieces that actually hold better value and are more timeless and more long lasting in my wardrobe. Once you can get out of your own way and let go of that emotional attachment that you hold to just things that you're not even wearing, you can truly start to see and sensibly look at the possibilities of what you can do with that money, especially in this financial climate. We all, especially if you have suffered with impulse shopping or just shopping addictions, or whether you are very heavily into the influencer world, I think for most of us, I mean, unless you're like really, really, really uber ultra wealthy, we all could benefit from being more financially smart, more financially savvy. This one is a little bit unfortunate, but it's also kind of a good thing. Like, it's number 6 is I no longer enjoy shopping as much. And I think it's probably because I'm still suffering, well, it's more violin, suffering from like this pain that I feel and this burn. I've been burnt. And if you're someone who dabbled in, maybe you did it in the pandemic, excessive consumption, you feel the pain of how hard it is to sell. And now for me, I agonize over purchases, over my wardrobe. I agonize over buying new things. And this is something I never used to do, you know. Years ago, I used to sit on my phone, scroll new arrivals, and I'd be checking out 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Worst time to be shopping, I personally think, when you're like delirious and half asleep. But you know, I would get packages to my door and I wouldn't even remember what I bought. I wouldn't even remember what I've ordered. Now I literally agonize. I agonize over 1 or 2 little things. If I put it in my basket, it sits in my basket for weeks. And most of the time, 90% of the time, 99% of the time, I don't even pull the trigger. I don't even go and check out. Why? Because I realize I don't want it. I realize I don't need it. And I think because now there is so much pain associated, and it's almost a good thing. Okay, I know I say pain and it sounds really sad and it sounds bad and it sounds, you know, scary, but now there is so much pain associated with my wardrobe to the point where if I'm buying something, it's because I really thought about it and I weighed up the pros and the cons and I truly thought about, is this going to serve me? Is this going to be in my wardrobe long term? Is it going to last? Because now I think about all the things that are currently still in my wardrobe that I'm trying to sell. I can see something on new arrivals, which a lot of the time, can I just say, I'm not loving. It probably doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't help, but I'm not seeing much that I'm loving at the moment. Like, I do look at new arrivals from time to time, and most time I just look at it and I'm like, no, I wouldn't wear that. If I wore that, I'd wear it for 1 season, and then what? It's going to be another $400 or $500 just hanging up on my shelf? No, thank you. I'm really now more drawn to timeless, classic, casual styles that I can see long-term working in my wardrobe. Okay, things like my Burberry trench coat that I love and adore and have loved and adored for what, like 7-8 years now. Things like this, you know, that yes, they weren't thousands of dollars, but these are good quality pieces. This whole outfit is Victorian woods. They were in the hundreds, $200, $300 mark, but these pieces are pieces that I love and will probably continue to love for years. I'm no longer interested in buying big ticket items worth thousands of dollars that I cannot sell, and I decide I'm over in a month, 2 months, or, you know, a season or 2. It's no longer worth it for me. I also think something that I would highly recommend is finding yourself an accountability partner. I have a friend who's experiencing the same thing. She's experiencing the same struggles and the same pain of selling. Okay, she's trying to sell off a large portion of her wardrobe as well. We both shook on it that we were going to promise each other that every purchase we were considering, we were going to run by that person. Not because we have the same body shape, the same body type. We don't have that, you know, similar styles, yes, but she's more into color and sequins and things like that. But because it's nice to have kind of an accountability partner that can point out things or point out flaws or ask you questions that maybe in the moment you're getting a bit like, oh my God, but it's so pretty. Sometimes you need someone to bring you back down to earth and ask those hard questions that maybe you're not willing to ask yourself. You know, just an example, a month or 2 ago, she was in Hawaii and she was interested in a specific bag, the new bag by Dior. She sent me a photo of it. She's like, what do you think of this? I really like it. And the essay is telling me that it's an exclusive, only in America. It's an exclusive. And I thought about that time and I said it to her. I was like, you know what? When I bought my Fendi sequin bag, they told me that was an exclusive. They told me they were only making 50 more and then that was it. Fast forward to now, you can buy that Fendi sequin bag on the website. Granted, it's, I think, over $1,000 what I'm trying to sell it for and also what I paid for it. Essays lie sometimes. Maybe they lie intentionally, or maybe they just don't know. Okay, maybe they're just giving you the information of what they're told. But it's not an American exclusive. It's now all over Europe. It's now also on the Australian website. And I'm pretty sure that bag has been gifted to multiple influencers as well. And not to mention that, you know, we know Dior, we know their resale value, it's not the best. All of these factors combined actually stopped her from going ahead and buying it. She came home to Australia. She saw that that bag was not an American exclusive. It was, you know, so easy to get. And just having that time apart, having that month away and kind of stepping away from the purchase, not making any rash decisions, actually made her step back and think, you know what, I don't want that bag. I don't love it enough to go ahead and buy it. I do think there's so much to be said for stepping back and having someone maybe point out some things that maybe you weren't thinking or you're not thinking about because you're too swept up in the moment. It happens to the best of us. I'm slowing down my purchasing. I'm slowing down on what I'm buying. And it kind of happened unintentionally. You know, I didn't have to force it. There were so many times in the past where I almost had to force myself to. I remember years ago I had that mindset of, oh my God, okay, I'm only gonna buy 6 bags this year. Last year I bought 12, let's only buy 6 this year. And then I remember I got to the end of the year and I think I bought like 8 and I was like, oh, but I still did pretty good. Like I still did pretty good. I am like just baffled by that headspace now. Where I'm at now, I'm baffled by that headspace. I feel like now I'm doing almost like a low buy and it's almost been unintentionally. And the 3 things that I have bought this year, I'm still wearing, I'm still loving. They're more classic pieces, more affordable, some of them pre-loved, just better options for me in my wardrobe. Slowing down, it wasn't something I had to force myself to do. It just kind of happened unintentionally. And I think it's got a lot to do with probably what's out right now. I don't like a lot of what's coming out right now. And also I think it's a lot of that pain that I'm still feeling of when I think about, oh, do I want that? But then I think, no, I don't. Look how much we've still got to get rid of. I don't want to make any more mistakes right now. I don't want to add another thing. I don't want to find myself in a year or two trying to agonize over selling even more. Number 8 might upset some people and it might sound a bit judgmental, but I'm just gonna say it. I've touched on this before, but I'll just wrap up and say, I did, like, I think I had a problem. Okay, I did. I think, you know, if Caitlin now met me 5 years ago, like if I met a version of me, I would be like, my God, like, is she okay? Like, is she going through some stuff? Is she okay? What are you gonna do with 12 bags? Like, what are you gonna do with 12 new bags a year? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're anything like me, you know, if you've been that crazy to buy 12 new bags and you end up realizing that you don't even want all of them and then you're trying to sell them and then you sell them for a loss. A lot of them do sell for a loss unless they're really rare Chanel's or Hermes bags. A lot of them you're selling for a loss. And, you know, I think I used to agree with the sentiment of, oh, well, you know, it's okay for men to collect cars, but when women collect handbags, it's seen as reckless. It's seen as a reckless financial decision and it's seen as frivolous and silly. Can I just say, I actually know of a man who collects cars and he sells them on a few years later and makes a lot of money. He makes a profit of anywhere from 100 to 200 to 300, sometimes up in the $500,000 on these cars. He buys them, he keeps them and he holds on to them for a few years and then he sells them on and he makes thousands of dollars. I know some of you are not gonna like what I'm gonna say right now, but it's a very different form of investing than someone like me who used to trick themselves into thinking, oh, but like I'm, you know, it's investment, like I'm a collector. I sold basically, like, there's only been 1 or 2 bags that I sold for the same, if not a slight profit. Everything else I've bought, I've basically sold for a loss. That is not that is not smart. And yeah, I just can no longer resonate with that headspace. I no longer believe the lies that I used to tell myself about, you know, it's collecting, it's just my hobby, I like to collect, you know, it's an investment. And again, I know this may sound really judgmental because I know there are a lot of people that do this and that buy 12 bags a year and that do see them as investments and that do collect. I don't want it to all come across like I'm on them. I'm just on myself, really, and my past self, because it was truly not financially sensible and it wasn't investing. It wasn't an investment. Maybe you know some men that collect cars that have just like they've all been at a loss. But the men that I've seen that collect cars, they collect certain cars that 2, 3, 4 years down the road are, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars more expensive. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm ending on today. If you have any video suggestions surrounding or similar to this topic today, whether it be decluttering or just shopping, impulsive shopping, excessive shopping, I'd really love to hear them in the comments down below. And please share with me your thoughts on this video today that I've shared. Have you experienced any of these things as well? Are you on a bit of a decluttering journey? I'm gonna have another one linked to right here. If you haven't had enough of me just yet, feel free to join me over there. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video, and I'll see you in my next one.